Well, that was, for me, an exciting period of time. Um, as the election for in 1972 approached, that was held in February, in the fall of 1971, a group of young psychiatrists organized and called themselves the Committee of Concerned Psychiatrists. Prior to this, there had been, one must recall that the turmoil and the desire for reform and for change was preeminent in the 1960s. And this had its effect on various aspects of our society and also on the American Psychiatric Association. There were, at that time, two big issues that caused a lot of agitation. One was opposition to the Vietnam War and a desire to have the APA take a position opposing the war and requesting bringing it to an end. The second big issue concerned the labeling of homosexuality as a disease, as it was in the official classification of the APA, DSM-2, where homosexuality was clustered with various perversions, pedophilia, and a whole host of such aberrations. And there was great feeling as that this should be ended. The Committee for Concerned Psychiatrists approached me to be the candidate. From the end of World War II until into 1970s, the APA had been run by a clique. It was an old boys club, and that the nominating committee would present a slate of with single candidates for each office, and they would automatically be elected. And it was termed an old boys club. And there was great resentment and resistance because that group resisted any change or reform, particularly in regard to the Vietnam War or homosexuality or any number of other issues of the day. There had been a petition candidate in the election of 1971 who'd been defeated by a vote of about, I think he got 40% or something.
That was Dr. Greenspoon?
No. Yeah, Lester Greenspoon.
Right.
And so, as I said, the Committee of Concerned Psychiatrists approached me to be the petition candidate for the 1972 election. I opposed it at first, and finally, as I recall, in December, with the promise that I would be defeated, I accepted running.
Now, during your presidential year, as you mentioned, a very historic event took place, and that was the event concerning the position that the American Psychiatric Association took on homosexuality. Can you explain how that came about?
This followed all the agitation, the desire for change and reform that took place in the 60s and early 70s. And one of the big issues of the day was that homosexuality, which had been classified in the official classification DSM-2 as a perversion, along with pederasty and other such syndromes. And this labeling received great objection, so that there was great spirit of the times. In the 1971 APA meeting in San Francisco, a member of the APA who was homosexual gave a talk at a plenary session, but he wore a mask to indicate the repression or oppression of homosexuals. There was support from various areas. The homosexual community had worked with Robert Spitzer, who was a psychiatrist at the Columbia Medical School, and he prepared, well, first he raised the question, and he was appointed the chair of a task force to look into homosexuality. And I was glad that it was during my president-elect period that I strongly supported his appointment. And Bob Spitzer prepared a document proposing and supporting the dropping of homosexuality from the official classification. But he was not the only force. The APA board itself and the members were strongly in favor of it. And as a matter of fact, in the 1972 meeting, which was in Hawaii, one of the members of the newly elected board made a motion to cease listing homosexuality as a disorder. But we felt that this was too soon, that it should not be an action of the board itself, but the assembly and the various committees should take part in this development.
Do you recall if this resolution was debated in the assembly of the?
Oh, yes, it was debated in the assembly, in the committee on nomenclature, in the committee on research, and I think in the joint reference committee. Mm-hmm. And this is very important because of subsequent events. And finally came to the board on December the 15th, 1973. And one of the other important things was that because of the desire for reform within the APA, in the election of 1972, a whole new board was, not a whole new board because there's holdovers, but a large number of new candidates were elected to the Board of Trustees who had not been on the board before. They were people who were supporters of the Committee of Concerned Psychiatrists, and they were committed to the issues that I mentioned in regard to the Vietnam War and to homosexuality. So we had a majority of the board in favor of the change. And the election was very important because the board of the previous year would never have supported the change in homosexuality.
So this was the election where you were running?
No,
this was the previous one where Dr. Greenspan
yeah, you see,
right.
Actually, your dates were wrong. I was elected in 1972, mm-hmm. But the board that I had as president-elect had many of the holdover conservatives from previously. In the election of 1973, that is in February 1973, whole new board of reform-minded candidates was elected.